Hi everyone, it's Keith Brink, Director of the Upward Bound Programs at the University of Arkansas. Welcome to our 2022 Summer Academy Orientation. Today we're going to tell you a little bit about Summer Academy Move-In, the daily schedule, academics, stipends, all of those things that you need to know before you actually get here and move in. So we'll also talk about the handbook and all the rules and expectations, so we'll cover all of those, as well as tell you about the paperwork and the forms that we're going to need you to mail back to us. So first of all, move-in. Move-in is going to be on Sunday, June 26th, and this year we're actually going to be in Futrall Hall once again, so you're kind of familiar with that, those of you who were with us last summer. The other thing about our move-in is we plan to do that between 4:30 and 6 p.m. on that Sunday, June 26th, but instead of everybody showing up at 4:30, what we're going to ask you to do is have juniors arrive between 4:30 and 5:15, and then seniors to arrive between 5:15 and 6 o'clock. What that does is that allows us to have a much more smooth transition for move-in and not everybody showing up at one time. So you have this reminder card in your packet. Be sure to review it. Lacey is going to talk to you about what to pack and what not to pack. And then on the back, you should see a map there that gives you all the directions. But of course, we'll have signs out directing you in to where to park, where to drop off your things. And that way, it should be a very clean and smooth process for you. And as far as parents go, you should plan to be there maybe about an hour or so. But we'll have all of move-in wrapped up by 6 p.m. And then we'll join together for dinner and start the Summer Academy. Okay, so what about the weekly schedule? Let me talk to you just a little bit about what you can expect sort of on a daily basis while you're here during those 6 weeks, the 5 weeks that you're on campus taking classes. And then of course, Lacey will talk a little bit more about our summer trip and give you a few details that we'll be doing during our 6th week. So here's a sample, and you also have this in your packet, but if you look at sort of the morning part of your schedule, that's when we're going to have breakfast bright and early. And again, we'll be eating in the same dining hall that we did last year, which is the Fulbright Dining Hall, which will be just right across from Futrall. So we'll do breakfast from 7:20 to 8, and then you'll do your academic classes. So again, you'll have your classes that will be your science, your math. All of those classes will happen in the morning. So your main core classes will happen between 8 and noon. Then you'll go to lunch. And then after lunch, you'll have your electives twice per week, or you'll be in seminars. So juniors, you'll have junior seminar twice per week. Seniors, you'll have senior seminar twice per week, as well as one day on Friday between 11 and noon where you'll actually work together as one big group. So you'll also have in your packet, as far as electives go, a little elective card, and that's where you're going to get to rank your choice of electives. So this summer we'll have 4 elective options, so be sure to look at those and rank those so that we can get you into the right one or the one that you're most likely to want to participate in this summer. Then of course, after we get done with electives or seminar in the afternoon, remember on Mondays we're going to have a group meeting where we'll talk about what we're going to be doing for the entire week. And then the rest of the week during that particular time between 2:30 and 3:15, we're going to have quiet or study time in the residence hall before we do PRT, which Lacey's going to be talking to you about PRT and the rest of the afternoon schedule and evening schedule next.
Hey juniors and seniors. So after you have a full morning of your academics, we will move into our activities for the evening. So in the afternoons, we typically start out with some PRT, some personal recreation time. And that's the time where you can really choose what you're going to be doing. Maybe you want to take a nap. Maybe you want to go to the hyper gym and work out. Maybe you want to run to the small Walmart on campus. You can make that decision for yourself. Parents, just a reminder that any time our students leave the residence hall, they're going to be supervised and chaperoned by one of our residential staff members. Then we'll have dinner, typically in the Fulbright Dining Hall in the Northwest Quad, and we'll move on into our evening activities. Now, sometimes that'll be mentor family activity. So just a reminder, all of our residential mentors will have a group of students that will be their mentor family. You'll do small group activities together. You'll have competitions throughout the summer that you'll compete in together. It's just a very close group of students and your mentor that you will get to know very well. And some of these small group activities will be in the evenings after dinner. Or sometimes we'll have a special activity or event. So that could be going out to dinner on the town. That could be going to Topgolf, going to Fast Lanes, participating in our talent show. There are many things that are going to be happening throughout the summer with those special activities that we're really excited about. Again, then we'll have a little bit more time in the evenings, typically after those activities for either some more personal recreation time or a mentor club. So the mentor clubs are whenever our residential staff members take a topic or a subject that they have a great deal of interest in and teach it to the students. And it's really dependent on whatever our mentors are really excited about. So we've had indoor soccer club, we've had Dungeons and Dragons club, poetry, cheerleading. There'll be all sorts of options if you want to participate in one of the club activities. Then, after that, from 9:30 to 10:30, you'll be on the floor of the residence hall. That's an important quiet time, an important time to go ahead and get your shower in, get ready for the next morning, start winding down. And then from 10:30 to 11, you need to be in your room, and by 11 o'clock, you need to have lights out.
Okay, in your packet, you have a card that tells you about checkout times that happen on Friday afternoons. So remember, during Summer Academy, you're going to check out each Friday at noon, or actually 12:15 to 1:15, and then check back in normally on Sundays at 7:30, between 7:30 and 8:30. In your packet, the checkout card gives you some information about how we want you to be picked up. So just like with move-in, during checkout, we don't want everybody to be checked out at the exact same time because that creates a lot of congestion and parking issues when we're getting checked out of the residence hall. So parents, please be mindful of the fact that we would like the seniors to be checked out between 12:15 and 12:45, and the juniors between 12:45 and 1:15. So adhere to that as best you can during that checkout time. Also know that we have some parking areas designated through Transit and Parking from the University of Arkansas, and that's parking lot 75, which are on the map, and also parking lot 37. Those are areas where we're going to be allowed to park during our pickup time on Fridays, so that you won't get a ticket if you happen to leave your vehicle. So one of the other things about checkout, and we'll talk about this at the end once again, is that you have a form that is your check-in and out form. And that form is important because it gives permission for students, parents, if you're okay, to let your child actually check themselves out of the residence hall, or you will designate whether or not you actually will come in and check them out. If they're allowed to check themselves out, then you can park in one of those parking areas, and then they can come to you during their checkout time. You can let them know that you're there, and they can come meet you at the parking lot. If, though, you haven't allowed your child to actually check himself or herself out, then you'll actually need to park and come into Futrall Hall and actually sign them out. So that's something that you will decide as a parent, and then that will just kind of designate the way that you will pick up your student, whether you'll have them come to you in the parking, or actually you'll need to come in and check them out. So students, again, just be mindful once again that we'll be checking out on Fridays and checking in on Sundays usually, but I'll go over some exceptions to that here in just a moment. And also for those of you who are van riders, so again, those of you who are in Upward Bound Math Science at St. Paul, Huntsville, or Mountainburg, we will be running vans this summer. And so on Fridays, instead of you having to get picked up, obviously, we'll be running the vans and taking you to your areas. So the one thing that's very important is when you actually do your check-in and out form is you'll need to make sure that you've been given permission to check yourself out, because no one will be there to check you out, and we have to put you in the van and get you to either Huntsville or St. Paul or Mountainburg. And here in just a moment, again, I'm going to talk about some of these important dates and kind of go over some exceptions to our checkout dates on Fridays or check-in date on Sundays.
So in your packet, you will find your Summer Academy Handbook for 2022. Please take some time to read over this, to check out all of our policies and procedures within the handbook. It's a really great document to become familiar with. I'm not going to take the time to read this whole thing to you, but I just want to kind of highlight a few things. So like we said earlier, we're going to be back in Futrall Hall this summer. You will have a roommate. Previously in the semester, the green cards were passed out to those of y'all that were at our final Saturday Academy, where you gave me your information on your roommate preference, your t-shirt size, and any dietary restrictions. If you were not able to provide me with that information on that day, one of the advisors will be reaching out to get that from you. One of the forms from your packet that Keith's going to be talking about is the emergency medical authorization form. I just want to say really quick that if there is some sort of accident or illness, parents and guardians, our goal is to get your student in your care as soon as possible. But if it is a situation where something needs to be done immediately, that form is going to allow us to seek appropriate care for your child until we can have them back to you. So I'm just going to point out the final 2 pages of your handbook. They're very important. The page before last is a list of things that you should bring to the summer, a list of things that you might want to bring to the summer, and then some things that you should avoid bringing. I'm going to highlight a few of these things. So for things that you should definitely bring, you need to bring some sort of bedding for a twin-size bed. So that could be a sleeping bag, or it could be sheets and a blanket, but that will not be provided. Make sure and have your toiletries, so all of your showering and all that sort of thing. If you plan to do laundry within the residence hall, the washer and the dryer are free to use, but you would need to bring your own soap, things like that. A few things that you might want to bring: a robe, some shower shoes, a swimsuit for the hyper. We're going to be going to the hyper gym and swimming sometimes. And some things to leave at home. The things to leave at home are in following with the University of Arkansas's housing and residential life rules. And so a couple of things that I want to highlight there is no candles or incense, also no hot plates or any sort of cooking equipment beyond a microwave. Now I want us to look at the final page of the handbook, and it just has a list of 15 expectations and guidelines. I want to highlight number 2, number 10, number 11, and number 13. Those really highlight 3 of the big rules with Upward Bound that we hold very dear and are important to our safety, both physically and emotionally. So the residence hall will be divided by gender on different floors of the residence hall. So there will be girls' floors and guys' floors. Guys are not allowed to be on the girls' floors. Girls are not allowed to be on the guys' floors. Our second big rule are the things that you are absolutely not allowed to bring. That includes drugs, alcohol, tobacco, or any sort of weapon. The third thing I want to highlight is that we do not allow any sort of bullying or discriminatory behavior in Upward Bound. That's something that's very important to us.
Okay, in your orientation packet, you have a summary of the weekly check-in and out schedule as far as important dates that we want to cover for Summer Academy. So the first week, obviously, we're going to be moving in on Sunday, June 26th, and then we'll have a regular checkout on Friday, July 1st. But for week 2, instead of moving in on or checking back in on Sunday, for that week, because it includes the July 4th holiday, we're actually going to check back into the residence hall on Monday, July 4th at 3 o'clock or between 3 and 4 p.m. And we're actually going to have all the students go and attend the Northwest Arkansas Naturals baseball game and fireworks show and provide dinner. So we're going to have that as an activity that evening. Now we understand that some families may be still celebrating the holidays or be out of town. So if you need a late check-in, that will be on Tuesday, July 5th, and you can actually check in that morning early between 7 and 7:45. We actually have a preference card that kind of indicates what your preference is, whether you're going to be attending the baseball game as normally scheduled, if you're going to do the late check-in, or if you have any other exceptions to that. Like, for example, maybe you're going to be doing a little bit of an extended break during the July 4th holiday. So be sure to indicate that on your July 4th preference card, which I'll cover at the end of the presentation. And then Friday, July 8th will just be a normal checkout day. For week 3, you'll check in on Sundays, and that will be the first time we'll do the 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. check-in time. But again, we have a little bit of an exception that week. Instead of checking out on Fridays, our students will actually be checking out on Saturday, July 16th. That's going to allow them to stay over that Friday into Saturday and take a national ACT exam that we've scheduled for our juniors and our seniors. So that'll be just a little bit different checkout day, and we'll be sure to give you a reminder about that during week 3. And then in week 4, normal check-in, normal check-out. Week 5, we'll have a normal check-in, but we wanted to make sure that you were aware, especially parents, on Thursday, July 28th, we do have our Upward Bound Talent Show, which we're going to be bringing back this summer. So we just want to make sure that parents and friends and family know that they're welcome to attend that, and we'll send out some information on where to park and exactly where we'll be having our talent show when week 5 gets here. And then finally, we'll actually stay through Friday that week as well and move out on Saturday, July 30th. But before move out, we'll actually do an award ceremony where we can celebrate our summer academy and give parents especially an opportunity to see all of the things that the students did during our 6 weeks, our 5 weeks on campus. Because week 6 is actually going to be our end of summer trip to Kansas City. We're going to provide you a lot more details about this, exactly when we'll be leaving, a whole full itinerary. We'll be providing that and sending that out probably maybe even in week 4 or week 5 we'll get that, but before you leave actually on move out day, we'll have detailed information on exactly when we'll be leaving for the trip, when we'll be returning, and what exactly we'll be doing. So we'll be talking a lot more about that as the time gets closer. So now I want to tell you about some things that we need back from you. So in your packet, we've been talking about all of the forms, the information that is provided for you. Lacey just covered the really important thing, which is our Summer Academy Handbook. So again, be sure that you read through all of that and make sure you're familiar with all of the rules. One of the important forms that we do need is going to be a gray form. It's called the Check-in, Check-out Authorization Form. Once again, this is an important form because this gives permission for you as the student to actually check yourself in or out of the program. Or parents, you can indicate that your child will only be checked out by you, the parent, or someone else that's a relative or friend that you have okay to check them in or out of the hall. So just be sure that that form is completely and filled out correctly so that we can make sure that the students, we know if they are allowed to check themselves out or not check themselves out and only be checked out by a parent or someone who has been approved. Also, just want to indicate again, if you are a student who is going to be riding the vans on Fridays, you will need to have permission to check yourself out of the residence hall. So be sure to fill that form out. That one will come back to us. The second form is a white form that you should see. It's a Statement of Acknowledgement of Student Commitment form. That is actually an acknowledgement of your commitment to the program, that you are familiar with all of the rules. So again, be sure you have read through all of the Summer Academy Handbook, all the rules and expectations, and then also it is an indication that you have completed this orientation. The reason that's going to be important is so that we can make sure that you know what the expectations are, that you're familiar with everything, and of course you can always re-watch this video if you need to go back over some things before you actually come. It will also give you an opportunity to earn stipend. We haven't talked too much about stipends, but again, just like in the past, just like during the school year, you have an opportunity to earn stipends for your participation in Summer Academy. For full participation this summer, for the full 6 weeks, and also this orientation, you can earn up to $400 that you will be getting at the end of the Summer Academy at checkout. Also, Lacey talked about the roommate card. Some of you have already completed that because you did that at the last Saturday Academy. If not, be sure to fill that out. There's also an electives card that I mentioned when I talked about academics. That's your opportunity to rank your preference for electives. There are 4 electives on there. Be sure to rank those 1 through 4 in preference, with 1 being the one you'd most like to be in, 4 being the least that you'd like to be in. And finally, there's a July 4th card that's red. That card is going to be your preference. So you're going to let us know if you're just going to do the normal check-in that we've already scheduled and planned for everyone, where you'll come actually on Monday, July 4th, between 3 and 4 p.m. to check back into the residence hall and then go attend the Northwest Arkansas Naturals baseball game and fireworks show that night. If you're going to be doing something different, maybe checking in that morning on July 5th or an extended time that you've already requested for absence on that, then you'll indicate that on that July 4th card. There's also some optional forms in there. All of you had to complete a medical authorization form and an emergency contact form when you joined the program. But we went ahead and included another one of those in there, so it's sort of a lilac color. And that form, again, as Lacey indicated, gives us permission to treat you as a child, or parents to treat your child if in case of any kind of an emergency or accident. So you'll need to make sure that that is completed. And the reason we've put it in there is because there may be some things that you need to update. Maybe your insurance has changed since you first turned in that form, or maybe there's some new contact information. So only send that one back if there's some updated medications or information that we need to know from a medical standpoint or an emergency contact standpoint. Also, the absence request form. So once again, we understand that some of you were going to have to miss maybe a few days or a portion of a day during the Summer Academy. If you already know some times that you're going to be asking to be absent from the program, be sure to go ahead and turn in one of those absence request forms. So it's the blue form. So if you're making an early request that you already know about, and if you have some additional dates or information, you can always add a sheet to that. But we'll make those forms available all summer long. So if something comes up and you're going to need to maybe take an afternoon off for a particular doctor's appointment or something like that, please just let us know. And of course, parents, you can check your child in and out of the residence hall during the week when those absences have been authorized for the student to miss during those times. And then finally, we know that there may be a few students who plan to drive themselves to campus. If that's going to be the case, you have to fill out the vehicle authorization form. You're also going to need to be sure and read the information or maybe contact our office about how you will actually get a parking permit. Because again, if you're going to park a vehicle on campus, you have to have a parking pass or a parking tag authorization from the University of Arkansas to do that. So only if you're planning to drive a vehicle will you need to turn that form in. And parents, when students do drive to campus for the program, they are not allowed to have the keys. They give those to us at check-in and we give them back to them at checkout. And so they are only able to park their car during the time they're here on campus. Just to drive to campus and drive back home on the weekends is the only authorized time that they'll get to use their vehicle. So again, all of that will be completed, put into the return envelope. So everybody should have a return envelope. Be sure to give us all that information back. And once again, be sure to keep your Summer Academy handbook. Be sure to keep all of your move-in card, your how to check out card. We've also included that sort of list of dates that are important and sort of the deviations from the normal check-in or check-out time. So make sure you kind of keep those in a safe place. But again, we'll also post those on our website, or if you lose anything or have any questions, definitely be sure to contact us. And so again, never hesitate to ask us questions or contact us. You can always find information at our website, which is ub.uark.edu. So again, remember, you can go there for calendar information. We'll link a lot of our flyers and information, so make sure you go there. You can always email us at ubound@uark.edu, call our main office, or you can contact your advisors. Melinda and Angel are always there to provide information and be your main contact students when you need a question answered. So we look forward to having you all. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to seeing you in June.